It is time to give you my final opinion about the Ratrig V-core 4 400mm cubed. First of all, without beating around the bush, this is an expensive printer. This is not going to be for everyone. This system right over here has costed me over 2000 euros because all the pricing on the website of Ratrig is not tax included. Then we have shipping, which is also pretty expensive. Now there is a lot of boxes that they need to ship, so I'm okay with that. But if you're going to take this one with the hybrid setup, a Raspberry Pi shipped to your door, this is going to cost you over 2000 euro. Now let me turn this printer on for you so we can see what we have done on the Ratrig, which is also going to unveil the first problem. Normally right now this printer should be making a whole racket. Like you can see, this cable is disconnected because we have a dead fan. The fan in the back, which is going to do the part cooling, is completely gone. It is dead. And it has been for about 6 months. Oof! So everything PLA based would print like shit. I never printed with PLA to begin with. This is an ABS boy only, but when we did, we could see the performance was not that great. I thought it was about the hot end getting too hot and all of that. Nope, the part cooling fan is dead. And right now, we can finally see what is going on with the second problem, which is going to be the rattling noise right here in the back is going to be another fan that is on its way out. The fan in the back that needs to blow air over all the components, and most importantly the steppers, is on its way out, and you can hear it, it is dying. Now giving it a little bit of a tap, sometimes makes it go away and then it's gone until we reboot the system. And there we go, the fan is back to silent. So we have 2 dead fans in this complete system. We also didn't have LED lights. Like you can see, we have to implement our own LED lighting. The system is as bare bones as it gets, which is a little bit unfortunate because they are calling it the full premium kit. Now, the components are really premium, but it stops with the absolute critical components that you need to make this printer run. So everything else is going to be optional, which is going to be including paneling, lighting, a webcam, and all of that. So what we have done is we have put in a heater, we have put in our own webcam, and I have built this LED light bar. So those will be all added cost if you want to replicate something like this. Now, if you would like to replicate the heater and the LEDs, then there will be a link right there to click it, and then you can also download the files and replicate everything that you can see. So my version has the hybrid system, which is a Core XY at its base, with the 2 bells at the bottom, and then we have a Cartesian style setup right here up top, which is going to help you with the back and forward motions. The big problem with that is that once the bell tuning is gone, which means, like in my case, the belts are starting to stretch over time, which is totally normal. Trying to tune these with the hybrid setup is going to be nearly impossible. The only good way to do that is to remove the hybrid belts, do everything you need to do for the calibrations on the Core XY system, reapply the hybrid belts, and then tweak it that way. I have tried to do it with the hybrid belts on. The only thing I got is more VFA and more problems. I can tell you right now, if you want to tune the hybrid setup, you will need to remove the hybrid belts, do the Core XY first, check all your shapers, check your graphs if everything is perfectly fine, and then reapply the hybrid system, because when you are getting weirdness, then you know it is because of the hybrid setup and not of the Core XY. Right now, I have no clue. I have tried to touch it. The only way to get good results right now is speed. So we definitely have a problem with the belt setup. That takes me to the complete build of this printer. The build is actually pretty fine. I really enjoyed it until one point when we started right over here, the tool head. Unfortunately, every damn connection on the tool head needs to be snipped off, re-crimped with other crimps in order to be able to mount all the components like the hot end, the fans, to the board on the back, which is going to be an EBB36 if I'm not mistaken, which is unfortunate in my opinion. This is a premium kit. With printer kits like an LEO or a Formbot kit, we can see they are including custom cables and everything is just fitting. Well, sir, this ain't it. you will have to snip off everything, redo all the crimping, and then it mostly works. For this being a premium kit over 2,000 euros, I would expect all these cables and connectors to be customized, so it is plug and play. Well, unfortunately on the Ratrig it ain't. Then we also had the manual trying to build it. The manual was very clumsy in the beginning. Luckily there were comments beneath the sections that you are watching at, with a lot of people giving suggestions on parts that were a little bit of a crapshoot, let's call it like that. We are over 6 months after the build, and I can say that the new manual includes a lot of those complaints. I haven't tested it out, the new manual, but it is a lot better than it has used to be. It was very confusing, the pictures were a little bit confusing, especially on the part of the wires, but generally I think this was pretty good. We did, however, build the Prusa Core one, which is sitting right over there. That was just so easy, it was just like Legos. You follow the pages, everything snaps together, clips together, plugs in. You don't have to do any custom things. This is not going to happen on the V-core 4, and it is not going to happen in the future, I'm afraid. So if you want to build this printer, just remember to buy a box of extra crimps and connectors. In the case that you are screwing up some of those crimps, you have more than enough, because they are only providing you with just enough to do your work. Then on the printed parts, just like the Voron, we have printed parts right over here. We have a bunch of printed parts over here. The motion system has a bunch of printed parts. These are holding up very well. I'm heating this chamber every time at 60 degrees, and I can tell you right now, I don't see any problem with the printed parts. These are all ABS printed, so this printer is already equipped to be heated from the beginning, which means no reprinting needs to be done. You can just put in a heater, and this Ratrig is ready to go for your more technical filaments. Like I said, if you want a heater like this one, the links will be right over there. It will fit the regular housing of the Ratrig with the paneling and the spacing between the bed. It should fit the normal housed Ratrigs. Then we have a massive aluminum slab. One of the things I found is this printer is using Beacon. It is my first time using Beacon, and I really enjoy it. In the beginning we did some PLA prints. Beacon is working absolutely flawless. The heated bed we could see has a very good tolerance, and it doesn't look like a damn taco. Things change a little bit when we are reaching 100 to 120 degrees, which is going to be the upper limit of this build plate. You will have to give it a little bit of time to heat up, especially in this chamber. We are reaching 60 degrees, and it is going to take you anywhere up to 30 to 40 minutes to heat everything up so that the heated bed is going to stabilize. I have done multiple scans with Beacon, and I could see even after 30 minutes the bed was still moving around, which is going to mean that when you are printing your first layer, it is going to get squished more and more and more because the bed is still moving, unfortunately. So what I would do is you do a scan after 30 minutes, you do another scan after 5 minutes, and if the difference is absolutely minimal, then it is going to be a great time to start your print. I would say in general, after 40 minutes of heat up time, this printer is ready to rock. So right over here we have a piano wire. It snapped on me twice now, so I'm going to zip tie it after the rebuild, and it is going to lift something like this. VFA performance on the Ratrig is also pretty good, but I would say that anything under 150 and basically 180 millimeters is going to start showing some VFA. Not as bad as the Prusa Core one. You can see, by the way, the comparison is right over there. But VFA performance on this system is rather good. I would say this printer is also not built to be used under 180 millimeters a second. If you are printing at 150 millimeters or below, this is not the printer for you to buy. That being said, the hot end right over here is a bit of a limiting factor. Right now we are using the Fetus Rapido Hot End 2 with the melt zone extender, so the ultra high flow. I can tell you right now, if you want quality prints, it is going to cap out around 24 millimeters cubed in my case. And if you really put in the heat, you can get at 30 to 32 millimeters cubed. And that is going to be the absolute limiting factor of the Ratrig V-core 4, which is going to be the hot end. If you want to use a 0.6 nozzle like there is in this system right now, then you will be limited to layer heights about 0.12 to 0.16 to get it over that 200 millimeters a second. That brings me naturally to what is going to happen in the next video. We are going to upgrade to the Goliath, which should bump that flow to a realistic 60 millimeters cubed. You heard me right, we are going to over double the flow on this hot end because I really want to use the 0.6 nozzle more than I would like it to use right now because we have those lower layer heights. Then another thing of concern I have found during the building is the lack of Loctite. We are not using Loctite on any of the parts of the Ratrig, and I could already see that after a few months of use, the beacon probe right here at the bottom was already dangling to fall out. I have retightened all the bolts in the printhead. All the bolts were loose. Unfortunately, that means that I'm going to rebuild everything on the motion system, put a little bit of Loctite on it just because we have some vibrating noises. There is some vibration going on in the printhead. I can see it in the input shaper graphs. The print quality is slowly deteriorating, and that is because I think everything is starting to loosen up also with the heat cycles because the chamber is 60 degrees every time we are using. Yeah, things are starting to get loose and we really need to do a rebuild, which is unfortunate. I have asked this to one of the developers of the Ratrig V-core 4 and he said that they don't use any Loctite on their systems. Well, mine is heavily heated, and if you are thinking about actively heating it, I would definitely recommend you to use some Loctite. Use the blue kind. That stuff can get loose. If you are going to use the red one, you deserve it. You can throw your printer into the garbage. Also, the flex plate on the Ratrig is one of the best flex plates I have ever used. Everything sticks really well on the plate. I never had adhesion issues. Even right now, the flex plate is really holding on strong. And in my opinion, if you have two of them, you will get plenty of print hours out of the system. Like you can see, I have 435 total print hours on this machine. And I'm pretty sure that over 400 of them were ABS exclusive. So this has been a very reliable ABS machine. Then another thing I think is going to be really cool is going to be the operation system of the Ratrig. They are using what they call RatOS, which is going to be a reskinned clipper, but they have added a configuration system, which means that if you want to change anything out, like I want to do, the hot end, probes, the main board, anything like that, everything is going to be configurable with anything that makes sense. So they have standardly included Golite hot ends, they have other tool head boards, they have other main boards. You can really mix and match in that configuration. If you are growing out of your existing V-core 4, the configuration houses so many options to change out stuff in this printer. It is absolutely crazy. It is super easy. Only a few clicks and you are set to go. So apparently I'm going to test that out in the next video. If I change everything from the hot end, it should be as plug and play as possible. This is also the case for the software. Software was something I really was afraid of on the Ratrig V-core 4. I have seen some stuff on the VOR ones. You have to SSH in a bunch of things. You have to do a whole bunch of things that are very uncomfortable for people like me that have never done this build. This is so well documented, so well automated, it is really not a hassle. If you ever wanted to build a VOR style printer and you are afraid of the software, give RatOS a try. It even works on your VOR 2.4s. It is absolutely amazing and you really don't have to have any skill on trying to program your printer. It is super well explained in the manual. It has been a breeze, the calibrations have been a breeze, the OS has been a breeze. To give you an example, if I want to change my LED lights, I'm now going to put them in 100, so I'm now just in the RatOS interface from Clipper, and right now we are at 100% in the printer. So we are having basic Clipper. You can update all the packages. You don't have to be afraid to push the update button. I have done it plenty of times, not because I needed it. I did it because I wanted it, just to try it out. If that would bork anything, they do mention that if you're going to upgrade to a newer software version, that you should do your prints first, because it could happen that your whole config gets borked and you will have to redo everything. And if you don't have the time while you are in the middle of your print job, that is going to get very annoying very fast. But in my opinion, I have never had that issue. Another issue I did have was going to be Wi-Fi connections. My Wi-Fi point was next to the printer and still we lost a lot of frames during the print, and after a while it was so bad I had 1 FPS on this webcam, and the connection to Clipper was also very slow. At some point I completely lost connection to the printer, and even after multiple boots I didn't recover it. The only thing that recovered it was completely erasing everything from the SD card, putting in the brand new OS, the RatOS, and that fixed it. Right now it is pretty solid. Not sure what I did wrong, but yeah, I had to do one reinstall of the RatOS. Anything except that, RatOS has been absolutely amazing. Now this electronics box, it is kind of compact, but it is still pretty annoying. It sticks out like a sore thumb, I would say, but it is doing everything it needs to do. Right over here we have a big ass fan. Behind the fan is going to be the main board with all the steppers that need to be cooled. However, in my corner right over there, although the wall was about that far from this cooling fan, I had 2 instances of overheating. And it is going to be the worst kind. We had stepper drivers overheating, and I had 2 failures to print, which is going to initiate a complete shutdown, completely wasting your print because Clipper went into some sort of a protection state. So keep in mind, if you are going to put this on the back like I did, don't put it too close to the wall because you are going to choke off airflow, or you have too much of the same air circulation going on. You will overheat the steppers and you will lose your print. I would say try to relocate it, but that would be a lie because all the cabling you get for the Ratrig V-core 4 is made to be housed on the back. The cables are not going to be long enough to, for instance, say I'm going to put it on the side or on the top, unfortunately. So this back housing will always stay on the back side of the printer. In my case, I have made a big ass hole. I can slide it in, the box is getting pushed out, and then all the airflow can escape from the side. That being said, all the heat issues are going to be a mine problem. We also are heating the closet. The closet is heating the outer shell. It is making it nice and toasty in there, making the stepper drivers too hot and all of that. So it's a little bit of a self-inflicted wound. Now, in order to fix this, I have made a water block. The water block you will see in the next video when we are going to change out the hotend. I also made a water block to cool all these stepper drivers on the Octopus board. Pretty nuts. I like it. You will see it in the next video. I'm pretty sure it is going to be overkill, but hey, this is Noisyverse and that's what I like. So all in all, the Ratrig V-core 4 has ended up to be a very reliable workhorse. The only big tip I would give you is use Loctite on your critical connections so you don't have the issue that some of the stuff is getting loose after time and heat cycles. Make sure that you do your belt calibrations on the Core XY first before you install the hybrid system. And make sure that you give it enough time to heat soak before you start the first print. The print bed is absolutely massive. It is going to warp on you, and I have been thinking on buying one of those graphite beds to put in the Ratrig. Maybe that's something I'm going to try out in the future. One thing I really wanted to see is the heated bed is now maxed out at 120 degrees. I would love it if it would be able to heat up to 150 degrees. Because that will take you to the ultimate type of filaments. So except for 2 dead fans, 1 tool head that is starting to get loose, most of the Ratrig has been absolutely fine, and I have enjoyed most of the 400 hours I have put in this machine. I will show you some pictures. Unfortunately, most of the prints I have done on the Ratrig were all prints on commission, so I don't have any of those prints, but I will try to find some pictures and show you them right now. This is a massive build volume. We have done some crazy stuff in this thing. All ABS, all came out fine. If you are looking for an ABS monster, the Ratrig is it. And then the next best thing about Ratrig is going to be the moddability. Like I already told you, we have the LED lighting, we added the webcam, I added the heater, and the next thing is going to be more flow, water cooling, and all of that goodness. So if you are excited about the next video, make sure you are subscribed. A big thank you to the members for staying with the channel. And guys, I see you in the next one.